There is something you need to understand before disappears, before another day disappears. The right time is not coming. There will never be a morning when every problem is solved. There will never be a week when you suddenly have unlimited energy, unlimited confidence, unlimited money, unlimited time, and absolutely nothing standing in your way. Life does not work like that. Yet so many people keep waiting. Yet so many feel ready, waiting until they feel ready, waiting until they have more money, waiting until they have more confidence, waiting until the fear disappears, waiting until Monday, waiting until next month, waiting until next year. And while they wait, life keeps moving. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. Then one day they look back and realize they were not waiting for the right time. They were wasting the time they already had. And that is one of the most painful truths you can ever face. You do not lose your life all at once. You lose it 5 minutes at a time. One postponed decision, one delayed dream, one more excuse, one more promise that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow. It is one of the most dangerous words when you use it to escape today. Because tomorrow always sounds easier. Tomorrow you will wake up early. Tomorrow you will start exercising. Tomorrow you will study. Tomorrow you will begin your business. Tomorrow you will make the phone call. Tomorrow you will change. But when tomorrow becomes today, suddenly another tomorrow looks more attractive. And the cycle continues. You are always one day away from beginning, always preparing, always planning, always thinking, but never moving. Listen carefully. There is nothing wrong with planning. There is nothing wrong with preparation. But preparation becomes procrastination when you use it to avoid action. At some point, you have to stop preparing to live and start living. At some point, you have to stop studying the road and take the first step, because you will never know everything before you begin. You will never remove every uncertainty. You will never eliminate every possibility of failure. And that is okay. You were never supposed to know exactly how everything would turn out. You were only supposed to take the next step. Think about how many things in your life you learned by doing them. You did not learn to walk by studying walking. You fell. You stood up. You tried again. You did not learn to speak by waiting until every sentence was perfect. You made mistakes. You corrected yourself. You continued. Life teaches through movement. Experience teaches what planning cannot. And sometimes the only way to discover whether a path is right for you is to start walking down it. But fear wants certainty. Fear says, what if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I'm not ready? What if I make the wrong decision? Those questions sound intelligent. But ask yourself another set of questions. What if you never try? What if another year passes? What if the dream that keeps calling you slowly disappears because you were too afraid to begin? What if the greatest regret of your life is not failure, but hesitation? Failure can teach you. Failure can redirect you. Failure can strengthen you. But the time you never used cannot return. You can earn more money. You can rebuild a career. You can develop new skills. You can recover from mistakes, but you cannot return to yesterday. That day is gone. This hour will be gone. This minute will be gone. That is why time is your most valuable possession, and yet people protect their money more carefully than their time. They hesitate before wasting money, but they will casually waste 3 hours scrolling through things. They will not remember tomorrow. They will spend years in situations they know are wrong. They will postpone something meaningful because they are afraid of being uncomfortable for a few months. Then they tell themselves, I still have time. Maybe you do, but how much? Nobody knows. And this is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to wake you up. You do have time. You have this moment. You have today. And today is enough to begin. Breath is real. You don't need your whole life figured out tonight. You don't need to know exactly where you will be 5 years from now. You only need to know what direction you want to move in. This breath is real. Then take one step. 1. People make change too complicated. They imagine that changing their life means completely transforming everything overnight. So the goal becomes enormous. It becomes intimidating. And because they cannot do everything, they do nothing. Don't fall into that trap. You don't need to build the entire staircase today. You need to climb one step. If you want to become healthier, go for the walk today. If you want to write one page. If you want to learn, study for 20 minutes. If you want to build something, if you want to build make the first version. If there is a conversation you have been avoiding, make the call. If you want another career, begin learning the skill. If you want to change your life, change something you do today. Small action destroys helplessness. The moment you act, you stop being someone who is waiting. You become someone who is moving. And movement creates momentum. This is what so many people misunderstand about motivation. They think motivation must come before action. I'll start when I feel motivated. But often motivation comes after action. You don't feel like exercising. You begin. 10 minutes later, you feel better. You don't feel like working. You begin the first task. Suddenly you're focused. You don't feel ready to pursue your dream. You take one small step. Now it feels possible. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. But somebody has to start the process. That somebody is you. You cannot think your way into a new life forever. Eventually, you have to move. And when you move, do not expect everything to feel comfortable. Growth rarely feels comfortable in the beginning. The first day in the gym feels uncomfortable. The first time you speak in front of people feels uncomfortable. The first time you put your work into the world feels uncomfortable. The first time you say no feels uncomfortable. The first time you choose yourself feels uncomfortable. The first time you walk away from what is familiar feels uncomfortable. You keep interpreting discomfort as a sign that you should stop. Sometimes discomfort is simply evidence that you are doing something new. There is a difference between danger and discomfort. Learn it. Your mind loves familiarity. Even when familiarity is hurting you. That is why people stay in routines they hate, jobs they hate, relationships they know they have outgrown, habits that slowly destroy their confidence, because the known pain feels safer than the unknown possibility. But there comes a point when staying the same becomes more painful than changing. Do not wait until that point. Do not wait for life to force you. Choose growth before circumstances make the decision for you. There will always be a reason to postpone. Always. If you're young, you'll tell yourself you have plenty of time. If you're older, you'll tell yourself it's too late. If you're busy, you'll say you don't have time. If you're free, you'll say you don't know where to start. If you have money, you'll fear losing it. If you don't have money, you'll tell yourself you cannot begin. The mind can create an excuse for every situation. If you keep listening, you can spend an entire lifetime waiting, so stop asking, is this the perfect time? Ask, can I take one meaningful step with what I have? Most of the time, the answer is yes. Maybe you cannot do everything, but you can do something. That matters. You may not control every circumstance, but you control whether you move forward within those circumstances. And never underestimate what consistent movement can create. A person who moves slowly for 1 year will usually go farther than someone who spends a year waiting for the perfect opportunity to sprint. Consistency beats intensity when intensity never begins. You do not need one perfect month. You need ordinary days used well. Wake up, do the work, learn, move, improve, repeat. It is not glamorous. It will not always look impressive. But your future is hidden inside those ordinary days. One of the biggest reasons people wait is because they are afraid of making the wrong decision. They want guarantees. They want certainty. They want somebody to tell them, this path will work. Nobody can promise you that. But here is something important. Not every decision needs to be permanent. You are allowed to begin and adjust. You are allowed to change direction. You are allowed to discover that something is not for you. You are allowed to learn. You are allowed to evolve. Starting does not mean you are signing a contract with one future forever. Sometimes you take a path and realize it is wrong. Good. Now, you know. That knowledge is more valuable than another year spent wondering. There is power in feedback. But feedback only appears after action. You cannot steer a parked car. Me first. This breath. Correct while moving. That is how most successful lives are built. Not with perfect decisions. With imperfect action followed by adjustment. Look at anybody you admire. You see the final result. You do not see every uncertain decision, every failed attempt, every change of direction, every moment they doubted themselves. You see chapter 20, you compare it with your chapter 1, then you compare it with your chapter 1, then you become afraid to begin. Stop doing that. Their journey is not evidence that you are behind. It is evidence that beginnings can become something. Give your own beginning a chance. And stop being embarrassed about being a beginner. This breath is real. Everyone is terrible at something before they become good at it. The first video may be bad. Post it. The first business idea may fail. Learn from it. The first workout may be weak. Complete it. The first conversation may feel awkward. Have it. You do not earn mastery by avoiding being inexperienced. You earn mastery by surviving the stage where you are inexperienced. Too many people want the confidence of an expert before doing the work of a beginner. That confidence cannot exist yet. Confidence comes after evidence. So stop demanding confidence from yourself before you move. Use courage instead. Confidence says, I know I can do this. Courage says, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to try. Courage comes first, confidence follows. And understand something else. The right time is not when fear disappears. The right time is when you decide that what you want matters more than your fear. Fear may come with you. Let it. Doubt may come with you. Let it. Uncertainty may sit beside you. Let it. Just don't give them the steering wheel. Keep moving. There is a version of you 5 years from now being shaped by what you do today. Picture that person. Where do they live? How do they think? How strong are they? What skills do they have? What kind of relationships surround them? How do they spend their mornings? How do they handle difficult moments? Now understand this. That future person is not created 5 years from now. They are created today. Today's choices become tomorrow's habits. Today's habits become tomorrow's identity. And tomorrow's identity becomes your future. The future is not some distant place waiting for you. You are building it constantly. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you are building something. Every time you say, I'll start now, you are building something else. Both decisions compound. Procrastination compounds. Discipline compounds. Fear compounds. Courage compounds. Excuses compound. Action compounds. You are always becoming something. Choose carefully. And don't confuse being busy with moving forward. You can spend an entire day answering messages, checking notifications, organizing your desk, watching advice, researching productivity, making plans, and accomplish nothing that actually changes your life. Ask yourself, what is the one thing I've been avoiding because it matters? That is usually where your attention needs to go. The application, the workout, the project, the difficult conversation, the first chapter, the first client, the first video, the first step. Often, the thing you keep postponing is the thing that could change everything. And your mind knows that. That is why it feels heavy. Important things create resistance. Do not run from resistance. Use it as information. Maybe the task feels frightening because it matters. Do it anyway. And stop waiting for permission. No one is coming to officially announce that you are ready. No one will knock on your door and say, "Today is the day you are finally allowed to chase your dream." You decide. You give yourself permission. You begin. You begin. Sometimes your family will not understand. Sometimes your friends will doubt you. Sometimes people will laugh. And sometimes nobody will care at all. That's fine. You do not need an audience to start becoming who you are meant to become. Work quietly. Let progress make the announcement later, but do not let other people's uncertainty become your prison. They are living their lives. You are responsible for yours. And eventually, this is real. You must decide whether you are more afraid of being judged today or regretting your choices tomorrow, because regret has a heavier voice than criticism. Imagine meeting yourself 20 years from now. Imagine that older version of you, looking back at this exact period of your life. What would they tell you? Would they say, "I'm glad you waited until everything felt perfect"? Or would they say, "Why did you wait so long? Why didn't you start when you had the chance? Why did you care so much about people's opinions? Why did you spend so much time doubting yourself? Why did you believe you needed to be perfect before beginning? Why did you treat time like it was unlimited?" Do not make your future self beg you to live today. Use the time. Start the thing. Take the risk you know is worth taking. Learn the skill. Create the work. Become stronger. Tell the truth. Leave what needs to be left. Build what needs to be built. And when something doesn't work, don't waste another year feeling sorry for yourself. A just failure is an event. It does not have to become an identity. You tried, it failed. Good. What did it teach you? Take the lesson. Move again. Some people spend more time recovering emotionally from failure than they spent actually trying. They make one mistake and carry it for years. You don't need to failure is information. Use it. The person who fails 5 times and continues has learned more than the person who spent 5 years waiting because they were afraid of failing once. Choose experience. Choose movement. Choose life. There will be moments when slowing down is wise. There will be seasons when rest is necessary. There will be times when patience is the right decision. But patience and procrastination are not the same thing. Patience says, "I am working while I wait." Procrastination says, "I am avoiding because I am afraid." Know which one you are doing. No rest should restore you so you can continue. It should not become a hiding place from your life. You know when you are truly tired, and you know when you are simply avoiding discomfort. Be Be truthful with yourself. You don't need to insult yourself. You don't need to hate yourself into action. But you do need to stop lying to yourself. If you are wasting your time, admit it. If you are afraid, admit it. If you have been making excuses, admit it. Truth gives you power because now you can change something. Excuses protect your ego while stealing your future. Choose truth. You have already survived difficult days. You have already handled things you once thought you couldn't handle. You have adapted. You have learned. You have changed. You are more capable than the fearful voice inside your head wants you to believe, but you will never discover your real capacity by remaining inside what feels safe. Challenge yourself, not because you need to prove something to the world, because you deserve to discover what you can become. There is potential inside you that cannot appear while you remain comfortable. It requires pressure. It requires action. It requires mistakes. It requires courage. And most of all, it requires time. Do not waste that time waiting to become someone before you begin. Begin, and the process will make you that person. You don't become disciplined and then start working. You work and become disciplined. You don't become courageous and then take risks. You take risks and become courageous. You don't become confident and then show yourself to the world. You show yourself despite uncertainty, and confidence grows. Action comes first. Remember that action comes first. So, after this moment, do something, not tomorrow, not when you feel inspired again today. Choose one thing you have been postponing. One. Make it small enough that there is no excuse. Lost the email. Float the first paragraph. Walk for 10 minutes. Make the plan. Open the document. Practice. Clean your workspace. Turn your phone off. Start. And when your brain says, but this is too small to matter, ignore it. Small actions are how large lives are built. A seed looks insignificant, but given enough time and consistency, it becomes something you can no longer hold in your hands. Your actions work the same way. The first step may feel tiny. Take it anyway. The second step may feel boring. Take it anyway. The progress may feel slow. Continue anyway. Because one day, you will turn around and realize you are miles away from the person who kept waiting. That is what you want. Not overnight transformation. A direction, a commitment, a life that is moving. Time will pass whether you act or not. 1 year from now is coming. 5 years from now are coming. You cannot stop that. The question is, who will you be when they arrive? Will you still be talking about what you want to do? Or will you have stories about what you tried? Will you still be planning your beginning? Or will you be looking at the progress created by hundreds of imperfect days? You get to decide today, not once, but again tomorrow, and the day after. Life does not demand perfection from you. It demands participation. Show up, use your time. Stop waiting until everything makes sense. Stop waiting until you feel fearless. Stop waiting until everyone approves. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for Monday. Stop waiting for next month. Stop waiting for next year. Stop waiting for the right time. This is your time. Maybe it is messy. Maybe it is difficult. Maybe you are uncertain. Maybe you are scared. Start anyway, because someday you will run out of tomorrows. And when that day comes, the question will not be how perfectly you lived. The question will be whether you lived at all. So make the decision. Choose the uncomfortable beginning over the comfortable delay. Choose progress over perfection. Choose courage over certainty. Choose action over excuses. Use the day that is already in your hands. The clock is moving. Your life is moving. Move with it. Start before you're ready. Learn while you're moving. Correct yourself along the way. Fall, stand up, try again. But whatever you do not spend another year waiting for your life to begin. It already has. Start now.